Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto was the first Otsutsuki to ever exist. Remember to get this one too 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto was neglected with the karma seal from Shibuya Otsutsuki, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, I indeed have 3 more channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this? Let's begin now guys. So, to do a bit of a recap from the last part that we left off, Naruto was thinking about what was gonna happen after his demise. Mito, his teammate, she was a really good person. He hoped that her dream became a reality, and she became the first female Hokage of Konoha, and the strongest. Hinata did not deserve half of the things that happened to her. She did not. She was a precious girl, a wonderful girl that deserved the world. He thought about his friend Neji. He sacrificed so much and he's been here for him since day one. And now he was gonna leave him alone. He was truly sorry for that. He even thought about Sasuke. He had so much taken away from him. He was just a child when it happened. He did not deserve any of it. He did not. Before he could be struck down though, the wall exploded as a woman entered. She did not give her name just yet. However, it was the same woman that Naruto had spoken to in his dreams. She was real. Neji was there as well. All of the other Hyugas arrived, as the guards were told to take them down, but she tossed them aside like they were children. As Naruto, after the woman and Neji spoke to him, he regained feelings that he thought that he lost, feelings to survive and go on. As Naruto got to his feet and told her to get them out of here, but not before telling Hayashi and the others that they would be back. They would be back. So with that, they were gone. Once they were far enough away, she introduced herself. Her name was Chiyoko Otsutsuki. As she told Naruto that he was the one that named her, she decided to tell him the history. He came into reality. Yes, he came into reality from a tree that was known as the everlasting tree of life, as the tree literally gave birth to him, a being of unimaginable power. However, as he traversed through the different planets, through the universe, different galaxies, there was no other like him. He was nameless. He never truly named himself. He decided to replicate his power into others. The first that he created was a being known as Shibuya Otsutsuki, Shibuya, his son. Soon after, as him and Shibuya went around for thousands of years, he allowed Shibuya to do his wrongs and do his rights, for him to learn, for him to gain knowledge on his own. He was involved, but not overly so. When Shibuya returned, Naruto had created more, another set of powerful individuals. Shibuya was upset about that, really upset about that. He didn't like the fact that his father was trying to replace him, despite that not being what Naruto was doing. However, Chiyoko was a part of the second group, as her father had named each and every one of them. Her sister, wanted to give life as well, so she created lesser beings, the weaker Otsutsukis. Their father was not there when Shibai had returned. Chiyoko watched as Shibai came back and killed them all. He absorbed her brothers and sisters. He was going to do the same to her and all of the remaining Otsutsukis, who were just in pods at the time, blessed from her sister in a tree, a god tree that she called it. That is when her father arrived and stopped him. Her father and him battled. She wasn't fast enough to keep up with their speed, but Shibai was the only one that arrived. Her father did not. Shibai no longer wanted to kill her, nor did he wanted to kill the other Otsutsukis. He simply left. And for a long time he absorbed and absorbed and absorbed, until he transcended time and space and became a literal god. His power spreading through and elevating to another level. She decided to migrate with the other Otsutsukis, none of them knowing the true history. They heard the rumors of what Shibai had done, but they knew nothing of her father or her and her brothers and sisters that fell by the hands of Shibai. Chiyoko watches over time. The Otsutsukis gain status and they gain higher heads and weaker heads. They started to be sent out to gather the population, fruit, and power. As they start to see themselves above normal people, they start to see themselves as gods, wiping out whole civilizations by absorbing everything into the chakra fruit. It was her sister's design, but her sister never designed it for that. Chiyoko was not like them. She never truly thought about devouring plants that much, so she was nowhere close in strength as she watches they rise. She didn't know her purpose. For years now she just wandered the universe, trying to help people, going through different galaxies and others. But she truly didn't know what she wanted to do. She was the last of the originals, other than Shibai. She told the entire story to Naruto and Neji. The both of them were truly baffled by this, as Naruto could not recall that. He could not. As Chiyoko told him that the Otsutsukis had divided into factions, Momoshiki was leading one of them and there were others. They send the weaker members out to be sacrificed to become a part of the god tree and then bring the fruit back to them. But those like Momoshiki's, well, they went around and gathered the fruit for themselves. The factions didn't get along at all. She offered herself up for him to devour her to gain his power back, but he refused. He wouldn't kill her. He might not know her, but he wouldn't kill her. They had an idea though. Chiyoko kidnapped Hiruzen and brought him out here, as Naruto pleaded with him to just listen him. After hearing what he had to say, Hiruzen gave him the information. Naruto wanted to know where he found him when he was a baby. Arriving there, Naruto found himself seeing something that Chiyoko and Neji could not see as he went underground. But as soon as he stepped in the strange room, he vanished. The both of them looking around confused, he was gone. As Naruto found himself back, and everything was alright. She was here. He thought that he lost her, back in the Hyuga compound. However, the seal, it was working on him. Naruto watched as his life went over and over. He tried to save her again and again and again and again. He tried to save her. But every time he failed. He even failed to save Haku once again. Everything he did, he failed. But that is what his power was. It was his own self-confidence. He need to move on. He need to understand that it wasn't his fault. And he finally accepted that. When Naruto returned back to the world of the living, much time had passed as time was different in here than it was inside of the seal. Upon returning though, he wasn't alone. Another Otsutsuki had been brought with him. However, Naruto did not return as a child. He returned as a god. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the what ifs of the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And also guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. So let's begin this now guys. We begin this episode at Konoha. Mito Uzumaki was gazing around. There were people from all over. This was it. This was her opportunity, she thought to herself. The place was filled with people. All of them were here. All of them were here to watch them. She was partaking within the exams. The Chunin exams of Konoha. A lot has happened over the past couple of months. It has been 6 months to be quite precise. She heard rumors. She spoke to the Hokage who told her. She gave that to her close relationship with the old man. As he spoke to her on the behalf of what happened, turns out that Naruto and Neji had fled the village. And now, well, the clan was after them. And the village was forced to warrant them as criminals because of their action against the clan. She was sad to hear that. She didn't really know Neji, but Naruto did spoke about him once, saying that he was his friend. She and Naruto got along great. He didn't look at her the way the others looked at her when she said that she was going to become Hokage. He looked at her like he believed her. He was her friend. But now he was gone. Well, it's better that he stay out there, because if he does come back, they were going to kill him, and she didn't want that. When she became Hokage, she would pardon him of his crimes. She heard things about the clan, the Hyuga clan. It wasn't a good clan. The person that took Naruto's spot was Sakura Haruno. She didn't like the girl one bit. The girl was just obsessed over Sasuke. Sasuke this, Sasuke that. She wasn't even strong or anything. She threw off their whole team dynamic. At least her and Sasuke were getting along. But things were different now. Ever since the Forest of Death incident, Orochimaru of the Sannin had been there. He bit Sasuke on his neck, giving him a strange mark, and Sasuke's been acting strange ever since. She tried to help him, but he didn't want her to help. He said he didn't need any help, but she knew that he wanted help. Over the month of the Chunin exams after, she defeated Kiba. She was given a month to train. Kakashi had left her to be trained by someone that, well, he wasn't strong. He was Konohamaru's teacher. But she did meet someone else. The perfect sage, Jiraiya of the Sannin, and he taught her because he knocked out her teacher. So yes, she believed in herself. Her opponent was Temari from the Sand. And she believed in herself she was going to win this match as she made her way. While that was going on, situated with the Kazekage nearby was Hiruzen. It's been months now since he gave Naruto and Neji that location along with that woman, Chiyoko. Ever since, there has not been any news. None at all. It has been radio silence. He had no idea what was going on. Hiruzen decided to keep the information to himself. The information that they all might be doomed. That this world was soon to face utter destruction. Perhaps something happened. Perhaps Naruto did regain his memory and return back to his home world. Hiruzen decided to keep the information to himself until anything is brought to reality and the light, because he didn't know what was going on and he couldn't tell what they would be preparing for. He just did not know. But he truly hopes that everything works out. Hiruzen had to take a ninja off of the reserves and place on team guys so they could participate in the exams, as Neji has not been seen either. None of them has. And Team 7 got Sakura Haruno. So now the exams were going to take place. Mito was actually first. The match began as she faced off against Temari. It seemed strange as Mito was trying to keep her distance, which was rather stupid, because Temari was a long-range fighter. Temari was using her wind attack, trying to quickly take Mito out, but Mito was actually able to dodge as the match continued. However, it turns out that it was a clone the entire time. When it finally burst, the real Mito erupted from the ground as a smoke bomb filled the air. However, Temari blew it away, only to find nothing. She was confused as she looked around before. She looked down. As Mito emerged, Temari slammed her fan into her side though. Poof! Mito was gone. Temari ducked as a hail of kunai was thrown towards her. She quickly flipped and jumped away. Where is she? She said, looking around. Got you now! As Mito dropped from the sky, about to drop a fist in her face, however, Temari twisted and slammed her fan in her guts. However, Mito smiled before she dropped a kunai on the ground. Poof! She was gone. The kunai that she dropped, the real Mito that was resided within the trees, used it as substitute. As she arrived, one punch to the face. Kushina always was known for her superhuman strength. The punch knocked Temari asunder. Mito was done as she followed up with 3 gut punch before spinning and a brutal kick that crashed Temari in the wall. Mito had truly taken to the lessons that Kakashi and Jiraiya had taught her. She was no longer rushing in head first. She had to be cautious and study her opponents. And she did so splendidly. The people were rather shocked and really impressed. The girl that most of them had seen as a demon was now fighting as a ninja of their village and just defeated a San Kunoichi, one of the San top youngest Kunoichis. Temari was out for the count as much as she relied on her fan. She wasn't a hand-to-hand fighter. Jiraiya stood with a proud smile on his face. Very, very proud. Time skip. Sasuke showed up late along with Kakashi. As Kurenai told him how amazing Mito was, he felt bad that he missed her match. However, he would congratulate her later. That is when Gaara and Sasuke start to fight. Lee was surprised, as Sasuke's speed was so incredible now. Could talent really get you that far in such a short amount of time? Lee glanced towards his side. Tenten hadn't been herself since Neji went away. She hadn't been herself. He also missed Neji as well, as he was his final challenge to defeat him and prove that his hard work always prevail. However, Neji was gone. The other one that was placed on their team. He was like Neji, the fact that he didn't really wanted to hang out with them one bit. Well, not that much. Neji had his good moments though, but still he was gone. Tenten sighed as she glanced out towards the field. He would have been here to participate, she thought to herself. She had a crush on Neji, but now she doubted that she would ever see him again, because if she does, she don't believe that it would be pretty to do so. After deserting the clan grounds, the only way for him to, she didn't even want to think about execution. The Hyuga clan was quite brutal. She did not really know this Naruto, but she knew that Neji cared for him deeply as if he was his own blood brother. But he was willing to sacrifice so much because she knew that Neji was not the one that started this. Wherever you are, I hope you are right, she said, gazing towards the heavens. She was snapped from her thoughts when a blood-curdling scream erupted in the arena. It was Gaara. Chaos started to emerge as feathers started to fall. The invasion on Konoha that was planned was currently happening. Hiruzen found himself on top of the building as he was trapped. Orochimaru revealed himself, faking as a Kazekage. As chaos started to happen within Konoha, an explosion unlike any. The only person that had witnessed something like this, but it was on a much smaller scale, was Hiruzen. Power that shook the very air itself could be felt. It swallowed the land of fire and beyond. Everyone gazed out as they saw a massive white light split the heavens. Literally split the heavens. The cloud, everything was just parted. Pure power resonated through everything. It then died down. Confusion was there for a moment before the battle started up once again, as they did not really know what was going on. While all of that was taking place, a man came to a stop in mid-air, gazing down below on the fighting that was going on within Konoha. There was an unconscious woman on his shoulder. He had long white hair that stretched down towards his back. Both of his eyes showed the Byakugan in its purest form. The first, it had a tinge of lavender to it. It was in its purest form. There was a slit on his forehead, but it was closed at the moment. There was 2 slits in his palm, but they were closed as well. He looked down toward his hands. I suppose this will have to do. He was wearing a white shirt. The sleeves were so long that they covered his arms when he held them down. His chest was exposed. His skin was a more lighter color than it formerly was. There was strange engraving that were in his very being, markings of a powerful eye that was in the center of his chest, with several tiny dots in the eye, and in the center of the eye there was a strange star with several sides on it. It was a tattoo that was seemingly ingrained in his very skin. He was wearing grey pants. There was no footwear that he had on. And that was it. That was him. As he once again gazed down towards the village of the Hidden Leaf, he descended downwards. The moment he did, a sound ninja saw him and immediately attacked, believing that he was with Konoha. However, his fist was easily grabbed. The man placed his hand on the sound ninja's chest. The sound ninja eyes went wide before every single life out of him was absorbed. His body easily dropped to the ground. His bones so brittle that they shatter when they hit the floor. The young man then walked. His face would put him in the age group of someone 18, 19. He had a very young, youthful look, everlasting youth. As he calmly walked, his Byakugan eyes surveying the entire village. He kept on walking until there was a disturbance when a mighty beast formed right within the forest. He gazed over. A small smile came on his face. "Mito," he said. Soon after, a large frog was summoned. As the frog and the sand beast started to fight, "Do not worry. I will handle the rest here," he said, talking to himself. He leaned down slightly as he placed his hand on the ground. His Byakugan eyes, they were fully aware and they could see everything. He counted every members within his sight in just seconds. He then removed his hand from the ground. A white handprint was left there on the ground. The handprint simply melted into the ground like it was liquid as it bore fruit. Massive vines, white vines of plants started to emerge. They started to grow and grow and grow and grow until a tree, unlike any other ever seen within the land of fire, bloomed within Konoha. The tree was colossal. It was massive, towering over every building, every monument. His gaze was still kept on Mito as he watched their battle, but it didn't seem like this was a battle that he had to intervene in. He then held his hand out. The tree then started to bear roots. All the roots multiplied, hundreds, thousands. Every single sound ninja who was left, the sand ninjas had fled because they realized they were tricked. Everyone paused as they watched all of their people was being grabbed. The sound ninjas came to a stop before they ran. However, they couldn't outrun it. They were mercilessly grabbed, and all of their energy, all of their chakra was siphoned and absorbed. All of their power was taken. Their body was pulled into the tree, and it seemingly devoured them. The tree then once again sprung roots. However, these ones were green. Many ninjas that fell on Konoha's side started to be wrapped up. Many gasps could be heard, shock, confusion, as they saw. Every single Konoha ninja that fell, they start to wake up. The tree pumping life directly back into them. Those that lost their loved ones a moment ago was beyond shock. They couldn't believe what they were witnessing. As they watched, their ninjas rose back to their feet. Kakashi, being one of them to observe all of this, he was shocked. As he approached, he was cautious. "Who are you?" he said. The person turned. "Don't you recognize me, Sensei?" Kakashi wondered if he was seeing things, as it seems like he was looking at Naruto, but an adult Naruto. He rubbed his eyes. Are you Naruto?" he said, looking confused. "We will talk soon," Naruto said. He then disappeared. Naruto arrived and gripped onto Hiruzen's soul. Hiruzen was shocked. So was a Shinigami, as Naruto appeared out of nowhere and gripped the man's soul. Hiruzen looked at Naruto, as he immediately saw it. "Naruto," he said, as he looked towards him surprised and confused. "I told you I would return," he said, looking down towards the old man. He then turned as he glanced towards the Sannin, who just lost the movement of his arms. As Naruto's gaze focused back on Hiruzen, that is when he heard, "Release it." The voice did not speak in anything that was heard on the Elemental Nation, but Naruto understood it quite well. As the Shinigami looked towards Naruto, as Naruto could see him clearly. However, Naruto did not release Hiruzen's soul. The Shinigami pulled his blade from his mouth as he held it within his hands. Hiruzen reached up as he patted Naruto on the shoulder. "It's alright," he said, as he gave the man a smile. "I think this is it for me." What better could a Hokage ask than protecting his village and giving his life to do so, and watching as the younger generation rise with a will of fire and hope? I'm not sure what is happening to you. I can tell that you're different now. But promise me something. The promise that you made me before you left, that you would make sure this village and this world survives. Will you still keep it? Will you promise me that you will keep it?" he asked. "You've done enough," said Naruto, as he looked down towards the old man. "You've given everything that you could for this village. I will make sure that it prospers from now on. And I will keep my promise. And I will make sure that your soul doesn't end up with this thing." The Shinigami swiped. However, Naruto yanked, and he literally pulled the soul from the Shinigami. Holding on to Hiruzen, "It's time for you to rest," he said, as Naruto released the soul. The Shinigami gaze fixated on Naruto. Naruto knew the incarnate of death. "You are not as powerful as you once were. Do you truly wish to challenge me?" "You're right. I'm not strong as I once was. But I will regain my power, and my soul is something that you can never take. Is this something you really want to do? Fight me over an old man's soul? Because you know eventually I will regain my strength. So, ask yourself, if you truly want to do this," said Naruto, The Shinigami looked at him. It seemed really upset. I don't have to do anything to you, but I will allow this old man's soul to go free, to not waste my time with fighting you. For what seemed to be eternity, you've always been as if you're untouchable, as if you're more than us. I am death. I say where the souls go, and yet you choose to intervene in something that does not belong to you even after the old man made a grave sacrifice for his people. But soon enough, I won't have to worry about you. Now that you regain your memory. You've been watching me, said Naruto. I know about your existence the entire time. But now that you remember who you are, what you are, and now that you're awake, it is also awake. So I don't have to worry about ever seeing you again after a certain amount of time. It will take you, and as strong as you are, you weren't able to defeat it last time. Your grave sacrifice did not completely stop it. So, soon enough, you won't be much of a problem anymore. The Shinigami said, almost seemingly happy. You're right. Our last battle did not end it with me winning. A first, a battle that I did not win. However, remember what I am. Remember what gave birth to me. You are the existence of death, and I was created by life, a being that you yourself cannot fully understand. So if you think my demise will be coming soon, why don't you check to see if my death will be something of this reality? You can't, can you? Because I am the only being that you truly cannot understand. Because my death is not in any reality that you seek, in any reality that you ever view. And this time, there will be no surviving for that monster. I will annihilate it once and for all. You truly believe so much in your own strength, despite your past failure. The Shinigami said, oh, I did not fail. I simply bought some time, and now that I'm back, things are going to be different. Enough of your nonsense. I will be there to oversee your demise. With that, the Shinigami went away. As Naruto didn't allow him to take Hiruzen's soul, he released it. As Hiruzen went towards the Pure Land, where he would be with his wife, Bowaka, in everlasting peace for all of his great, heroic sacrifice that he made for his people and his land. Naruto blinked in front of Orochimaru, catching the Sannin off guard. Did I say you could leave? He asked. Orochimaru didn't know what the hell was going on or who the hell was this, but he was talking to some. Orochimaru couldn't see it, so he didn't know what it was. As he gave the Sound 4 order to drop the barrier, and they did drop the barrier. Unfortunately though, they found themselves trapped as the place started to change. Yes. However, it didn't expand beyond a long enough radius. Have I lost this much of my strength, said Naruto, as he trapped them in a dimension, but his dimension didn't fully came out. It stopped at a certain point. However, they could not leave it, but still, the world beyond this dimension was right there. They could if they combined their power together. They should be able to fracture it and break through. Given how weak he was, maybe the Sannin could even do it if he strike it with all of his might. As Naruto cursed, this wasn't just any dimension that anyone could go to. This was his domain, where he ruled. But at level that he wasn't a god here anymore. Throughout this entire thing, Naruto was still holding the unconscious woman on his shoulder. Orochimaru snarled. Kill him, he said. Without the use of his hands and his body, in a critical state he couldn't really do much. The Sound 4 consisting of Kidamaru, Jirobo, Teiwaya, Seikon and Ukon, they all attack at once, showing their perfect team formation and their attack. As they rushed in, Naruto picked up Hiruzen's body with his other hand, therefore, he was not able to fight. Well, it seems that way. The vessel had been scarred. He could not revive Hiruzen because the moment the Shinigami had used its seal to break through his vessel, it had been scarred. Removing that scar was very difficult. At the level that he wasn't able to do that at the moment. So the only thing that he could do was prevent the Shinigami from taking his soul and send him off to the Pure Land. As the group rushed in, music, that was what he heard. She tried to tamper with his mind, to mess with his mind with the sound, however, that did not affect him in the slightest. The large one then jumped. Jirobo came down with both of his arms, intending on cracking Naruto's skull as Naruto stepped to the side. His fist destroyed the ground. However, all he saw was the dust and debris, but the ground looked fine. Naruto's dimension seemed like reality, but closer inspection it was not. They were in a strange cave of sorts. It had no ending, despite the fracture of the other side being right there. However, they could not see it. Their eyes were not advanced enough. If one of them were to possess a dojutsu, perhaps they would. But they should be able to feel it if they got close enough to know that they were still close by in the real world. The ceiling was not there. It was just an endless void of white. Orochimaru tried to find the location on how to get out of here. Kidamaru fired 3 arrows towards Naruto's temple. However, Naruto kept on stepping. Literally stepping, and he was avoiding every single weapon that they used every attack. The last one to rush in was Seikon and Ukon. One attack from the left, his 2 hands came in from his back, but Naruto kept on evading as he walked with the corpse and the unconscious lady, until he finally arrived towards a safe place. He placed Hiruzen down. The earth seemed to absorb his body. Naruto then jumped, still holding on to the woman on his shoulder. He then proceeded to kick Jirobo in the head. However, the blow slammed Jirobo through the earth. The force, despite the average looking kick, packed so much force, it crushed him into the ground. Orochimaru's eyes went wide. Naruto then moved as he grabbed the golden arrow and he turned and launched it. It was covered in chakra, but this chakra was not normal. Naruto clenched his fist as the arrow multiplied into hundreds. Kidamaru's eyes went wide as he was skewered at every point across his body. He proceeded to collapse down to his knees, dead. Teiwaya summoned her dokis as they jump. However, Naruto turned as he moved his hand in a strange pattern, like he was slicing through the ear. He did it on the first one as it split, the wave of chakra tearing through its form, reducing it back to chakra. The second one opened its stomach and released a strange ghost-like figure that tried to wrap around Naruto. However, he moved with speed beyond their comprehension. As he took her flute out of her hand, she stepped back in fright. Naruto gripped the flute and lifted it before he brought it down. The flute became large. It cracked her skull. Her body dropped into the ground, motionless, dead. Jirobo picked himself up as he was bleeding heavily. As Seikon and Ukon split themselves, Orochimaru appeared behind Naruto, Kusanagi in his mouth as he shot it out, intending on piercing Naruto's back. However, Naruto turned as he tapped the weapon as it passed him. The weapon disappeared. Orochimaru was confused. He looked around until he felt an unbelievable pain. The Kusanagi split through his chest and slammed into the ground. Naruto had shrunk the weapon and then simply enlarged it once it was inside of the Sanin's chest. Orochimaru was in pain as Seikon and Ukon pushed themselves. They used most of their chakra on the barrier. They pushed themselves as they entered stage 2. So did Jirobo. They attacked him from the left and the right, and Jirobo at the front. As Naruto spun, he spun so fast that his body became a literal tornado. As the tornado kept on spinning even when he stopped, they tried to regain their footing, but their bodies started to move out of whack. They started spin and spin and spin and spin until the spinning motion started to flow into their throats. Yes, the technique started to flow into their own mouths. Their eyes went wide as their insides started to spin, their livers, their kidneys, their heart started to move around their body, dislodging itself, causing ruptures and bleeding. They puked out so much blood before they collapsed, dead. While Naruto was nowhere near to his full power, they were still no challenge for him. Orochimaru had recovered himself. Well, not fully, given the blood all over. The Sannin was trying to run until he found himself hitting against nothing. As he found the layer that connected this space towards reality, Orochimaru tried to break it, but at his state he was not able to. As Naruto appeared behind him, Orochimaru turned and lashed out the Kusanagi. But Naruto tapped it right when it almost touched him, and it vanished. Naruto held Orochimaru's face. The Sannin tried to turn his body in a liquefied state by simply twisting his body out of Naruto's grip, but he physically could not. The Kusanagi appeared in Naruto's hand as he started to push it softly. He did not even show a bit of remorse or empathy. Orochimaru was nothing to him, just a means to an end. The Sannin screamed as Naruto pushed it through his brain. Before the blade shrunk, it then enlarged. It split his head right open as Naruto pushed his hand in and ripped his brain clean out. He held it in his hand before he crushed it. Orochimaru's body collapsed down to the ground, lifeless, dead. Naruto then tapped his feet on the ground as the dimension broke and shattered. The moment that happened, blades were pointed towards him, weapons of all kinds. It was the Anvus. As Naruto stood there with a woman on his shoulder, the unconscious woman. "Wait!" A voice spoke up. It was Jiraiya. As Kakashi was by his side. "Are you sure?" Jiraiya asked. "Yes, I'm sure." "Naruto, it's you, isn't it?" As Naruto turned toward the sensei. "Yes," he said. Jiraiya looked towards Kakashi, shocked look on his face. As he then noticed the corpses, and one of them was Orochimaru, lying dead on the ground. Time skip. Hiruzen Sarutobi had fell in battle. Luckily though, he was the only one. As harsh as that sound, none of Konoha people died, which was truly odd. None of them died. However, it started to quickly spread that this was because they were all saved. The tree that had withered away to nothing, they watched as their people returned back to the land of the living. And one person did that. Rumors started to spread like wildfire. As much as they hated the fact that they had to bury their Hokage, this was better. It was a better outcome than they could have ever wanted or hoped for, despite their leader falling. However, something else quickly took place after that. Naruto did attend the funeral. Yes, he did. The woman was no longer on his shoulder. as everyone wanted answers to how he did that and what the hell was going on. Upon realizing who it was, shouldn't he be a traitor of the village? Why would he do this? Not only did he kill the Sanin, he saved them all. However, Naruto was not going by their schedule. Mito was shocked. But how, she said, as Naruto was now far much older than her. When he arrived, she was confused who he was, as she started to focus. But she thought, this doesn't make any sense. A lot has happened, said Naruto. But I'm still Naruto, he said to her. You did well, defeating this Sanjin Juliki. I see that you spoke to him and changed him. Naruto said, looking at her. Throughout the fight, he was watching her to see if she would need any help, but she did not. You have a gift, he said to her. A gift that most people could only dream of. The words to change someone, changing them from their wrong path to a right one. You're special that way. And I know that the old man would be proud of you, said Naruto. Mito smiled when she heard that. As she hugged him, she was really sad. Ever since Sarutobi's death, she was really sad. So hearing that, it cheered her up. It made her happy. Very happy. There is something I must do, said Naruto, as Mito looked at him. The two of them arrived on the training field, where Sasuke resided. Sasuke got to his feet. Mito, he said, as he wanted to say more until Sasuke was shocked. It can't be. Naruto? He immediately recognized him, as he seemed just like Naruto but older. What's going on? He said, looking towards Mito. I don't know, but it is Naruto. Trust me. Sasuke, you're infected with the curse of that Sanin. For the old man's sake, I intended to erase him from this world, but he is still a part of you. I shall remove him, said Naruto. What? Before Sasuke could utter another word, Naruto's hand was on his neck. Sasuke felt a burning sensation as Naruto moved his hand. Naruto's handprint fused into the seal. As Sasuke dropped to his knees, what's going on, said Mito. It's alright. He's gonna be just fine. Mito watches the seal burned off Sasuke's neck, a strange white flame. He removed it. Time skip. A council meeting was taking place to discuss the latest things that had happened within Konoha, and to also discuss what is currently going on Hokage-wise. It had only been a short amount of time. The Hyugas heard. They could not clarify if any of this was truthful, because they could not find Naruto. Yes, they could not find him at all. There was no sight of him even with their Byakugan. They couldn't find him anywhere. Many was wondering if this was all a facade, a lie. But Kakashi saw him. Jiraiya saw him as well. But he kept on vanishing. Like he was in the village, but at the same time he was not there either. They saw him at the funeral and then he was gone. Before the meeting could even properly begin, as Jiraiya was called by the Yonvus to attend, he appeared. He simply appeared out of nowhere, nothing into something. Immediately his gaze fell on Hayashi. The guards immediately rose, trying to assess the threat on what the hell was going on. Weapons were drawn. Hayashi immediately got to his feet. Who are you? He said, as Naruto's gaze was focused on him. You don't recognize me. This can't be possible. How can you age in such a short amount of time? There are things that you can't even begin to understand, Naruto said, looking at him. For starters, I'm removing you as the head of the Hyuga clan. What? Hayashi said, looking at Naruto, confused. Surprise! You heard what I said. It would be much more simpler to kill you right here and now. However, there is something I never truly saw, but now I can. Naruto appeared in front of him. The ninjas draw their weapons and place at Naruto's throat, protecting one of their clan heads. However, their weapons simply vanish. As Naruto touched Hayashi's skull, the man froze. They stepped in to attack Naruto and prevent him from doing whatever he was going to do. But everyone simply froze. Time itself seemed to stop for a moment. The next moment Naruto was away from Hayashi. It seems I was correct in my assessment, said Naruto. Perhaps you're not as awful as I think, but your methods are truly questionable, and something I cannot just outright forgive. I already told you what is going to happen, the changes, and this is one of them. From here on out, you will step down as a clan head, and I will be taking over leadership until the rightful ruler is ready to take the position. You've gone mad, Hayashi said. Do you really think any of us will stand for any of this that you are proposing? You're mistaken. Perhaps you did not hear me correctly. I never gave any of you an opportunity or a choice in the matter, said Naruto. Now, be quiet. It's not your time to talk. Enough of this nonsense, Hayashi said. He was ready to throw down with Naruto. Is this really how you like to go out? For me to end your life right here and now, said Naruto. If you think this is some sort of facade or joke, look into my eyes and tell me otherwise. Hayashi looked into those Byakugan, and what he saw scared the living crap out of him as he backed away. What is the meaning of this? Hamura said, Yes, what the hell is going on? We heard about you and you were a child. How have you aged this much? If you are here, that means the rumors are true about you. Reviving the populace that fell in the battle, and your claim to take over the Hyuga clan. That is not how clan laws are set, and you don't have the authority to do any of this. And we will not just stand here as a council of Konoha and let you get away with this disrespect. Naruto turned towards Jiraiya, blatantly ignoring either of them. I presume that you're not taking the title of Hokage. How did you? I presume so, said Naruto. You're right, Jiraiya said, wondering how the hell did he know that. Do you have someone in mind that is fitted for the position? Yeah, Tsunade Senju, he said. The others were intrigued to hear that, but they were more intrigued on what the hell was going on with this guy, and everything that was currently taking place. You shall go and find her, said Naruto. Yes, but I'm taking Mito along with me, he said. Given the faint relation that they share, I presume that would be correct. Do so, said Naruto, and return with her. Enough of this nonsense. Koharu stepped forward. You speak like you're the one in charge here, and I for one will not stand for it. You have no power here or no say. You are not the leader of this village. It's due time that we stop. Stand here and listen to this nonsense. Anvus, take him out of here immediately. None of them had weapons. As Naruto, gaze looked towards the other council members. I know that all of you are within your right to say what you believe and believe what you can say. However, the village is in a dire shape of reconstruction, and I made a promise to the old man before he draw his final breath that I would make sure this village prevails. However, there are certain factors within the village that is preventing from doing so, and I am here to correct that. If you wish, you can all fight me, but I assure you, each and every one of you will lose. None of you here possess the power to end my life or truly stop me, said Naruto. So what is this? A takeover? Shikaku said. Is that what you desire? No, of course not. I will simply be taking the position as the clan head of the Hyuga. As you can see, Hayashi isn't questioning the thought anymore, because he himself understands that changes need to be made. Isn't that right? Hayashi frowned as he didn't respond. I will not get myself involved with you or any one of your other clans. However, I am here to help. The sooner you realize that, the better everything can go along. And you too, it is best that you keep your mouth shut. You two are simple advisors. This village is broken in several different ways. And over the couple of years that pass, you've done nothing to correct or fix the village. Removing viruses that has plagued and destroyed this village. As powerful as the old man was, he was weak-hearted because he shared sympathy and friendship with some. But I, on the other hand, Naruto turned his gaze to Danzo Shimura. As Naruto's hand was covered in blood the next second, Danzo, who had not said a word throughout this meeting, simply observing and realizing what was going on before he acted, was now in pain as Naruto tore the Sharingan directly out of his eye sockets. In the process as well, he removed Danzo's arm. He ripped the suppressors off of it. Everyone was shocked as Naruto looked at the bleeding man that tried to escape. However, Danzo was forced down to his knees. How could you conspire with the Sannin to destroy your own village just for power? So much life would have been lost in your ruthless attempt of gaining power. What? Many of them said, turning towards him. Speak, Naruto said, as Danzo's eyes mimicked Naruto's, looking directly like the Byakugan. Yes, I gave Orochimaru the information that he needed. I allowed him to attack this village. It was beneficial for us both, for the future of this village. I would be the one that would be in charge and rule you all properly, not that weak-hearted fool Hiruzen. Now you all see, said Naruto. With a simple gesture of his hand, Naruto had one of the blades that the Anvus had. He split Danzo's skull clean open. Danzo could not save his life by rewriting reality because Naruto removed everything to do so. With that, his time came to an end. That is the right way to handle the viruses that has plagued this village. If you are against me on the way I handle things, do as you must. Fight, gather forces, do as you please. But I intend to fix Konoha before I leave. I made a promise that I will not go against. Naruto said as he simply walked out, as Jiraiya was still standing there. Everyone was left in utter shock and confusion, as they didn't really know what to do. Time skip. Naruto arrived towards the Hyuga compound and stepped inside. Screams could be heard. Dreadful, terrible screams. So many screams. An hour later, all the bodies of the main branch members that Naruto proved to be unworthy of their life was now corpses. The council was still in session as Jiraiya had left. Could they really allow him to simply step in here and do as he pleased? They didn't even know who exactly he was. If he was the child, how did he become so strong? However, starting an incident within their own village right now, was that truly the wise way? But they need to know what was going on. Who even was he now? How could he have aged so much in such a short amount of time? The last time they saw him, he was supposed to be 13. But now he was in his late teens, probably 18 or 19. And 6 months, that was the only time that passed. This should not be possible, as they had no idea what was going on. Every single member of the clan was gathered together. Yes, they were all gathered. Naruto did not only kill main family members, he also killed branch family members as well. as Naruto knew things that he should not, because even while he was weak, his power was still vastly strong enough to see their desires, to see their commitment, to see everything. And it wasn't only one of him alone. Another Naruto was underground, speaking to the root ninjas. In all, there was 6 Naruto, all of them up to something else, speaking to different people around the village, as one of them returned back to the council room, where the meeting was still taking place. He understand their paranoia, he understand their fear, as he was going to do his best to lighten the feeling just a tiny bit. Someone had quickly returned. The moment they felt the pressure, the force, they quickly returned back to the elemental nation. However, she wasn't alone. Chiyoko had arrived, back on planet. She wasn't alone, she was standing with Neji Hyuga. Yes, Neji had been with her the entire time, off-world. Even Neji had went through changes as well. A lot of changes. While that was going on, Death had spoken to Naruto about something, or better yet, someone. Well, it was a loose term, and he wasn't speaking about Shibai. The moment Naruto memories came back, the moment who he was returned to this state of reality. Out in the vast universe, it shattered like glass. Yes, it was like a very powerful glass trapping something inside, and the moment Naruto woke up, it also woke up. Whatever this thing was, it awoke. However, it was not the only one. The return of Naruto had caused a stir in the balance. There was a reason why he failed to defeat Shibai all those years ago, despite being vastly more powerful. There was a reason why his memories vanished. There was a reason why his self was truly locked away. You would think that a being that has resided throughout the universe for eons would act a certain way, but he was acting like Naruto but more serious. Even more, it was not that much. Something was different about him. Yes. Now that he awoken, and his power seemed limited, as strong as he might seem to the humans on this planet, he was nowhere close to restraint. But something else awoke. The very balance of the universe, nature and force itself, was stirred up. Every single Otsutsuki in existence felt it. Something big was coming. Something more than world ending, more than galaxy ending, universal ending. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.